Hey guys, welcome back to T-Bones Tech. Today's video is my beginner guide to the brand new Canon EOS M50 Mark II. This is a great little camera and my full video test of it is coming out very soon. So if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when that video comes out. Okay, so the first step here is to give our camera power, and we can easily do that by opening up the battery door by pressing it up, and it's going to unlock and then fold down just like this. Next, we can take our battery, and with the Canon text facing the front of the camera, we're just going to insert it, and then we're going to press that battery in until we hear a click. So here you guys can hear it click, and then we're going to go ahead and press that battery door down, and now we have our camera powered. Next, we're going to twist this off counterclockwise, and it's going to come off just like that. Then we're going to take the lens and then twist that off again counterclockwise, and then we're going to line up these two little circles here, one on the lens and one on the camera body itself. So we're going to line those up, and then we're going to twist it clockwise until we hear a click, and now we are good to go. Then we're going to just pull this off by pinching it right here in the middle, and our lens cap is going to come right off just like that. And next, of course, we have to turn our camera on, so we're just going to press it to the on position. And here we can see it wants us to unlock our lens. So here, the M50, the lens is nice and small, but it's actually locked. So to unlock that, we're going to press it this way, and then we're going to twist at the same time, and here we can see it unlocks the lens, and the lens definitely gets bigger. But here we can now go ahead and start taking photos with the lens unlocked. So now we are good to go and ready to start taking photos. There are 9 separate shooting modes on the M50, and we're going to be going over every single one of them. Probably for most beginners, you're going to want to start off by taking all your pictures in automatic mode. In automatic mode, the camera is going to make all the decisions for you. So all you have to do is simply press down the shutter. The next mode here is hybrid auto. Next up, we have our special scene mode, which allows us to tell the camera what type of pictures we plan on taking. And then the camera, again, is going to make all the decisions based on what you choose. Next here is creative filters, which I don't use at all. Then we have video recording mode. Then we have manual exposure mode, which allows us to take full control of the scene. And I'm going to go more in depth into that here in a second. Then we have AV mode, which is aperture priority mode, which is going to allow us to change our aperture. Then we have TV mode, which is shutter priority mode, which allows us to change the shutter speed. And then lastly, we have program mode. Basically, it's still fully automatic, but you can change the exposure from darker to brighter with a press of the shutter speed button. Now we're going to take a couple of sample pictures, and we're going to bring in our test subject, which is a old Kodak Instamatic camera. To unlock the full potential of manual mode, we're going to hit the Q right here at the bottom of the screen, and from here we can change our shutter speed, our aperture, and our ISO. Here we can see our exposure dial, and we can see it goes from -3 stops to +3 stops. And to meter the light, we're just going to do a half press on the shutter button just like this, and we can see this small dot appear. Now this is telling us that the scene is going to be about 2 stops underexposed. So let's take the picture and see if it's right. So as we can see, the scene is definitely very dark, and it definitely is underexposed. But because we're shooting in fully manual mode, we can easily fix that by hitting the Q in the bottom corner just like this, and we are going to open up our aperture just a little bit. So right now we can see that we are shooting at f5.6, but that's not the fastest aperture available. The fastest aperture available on this particular lens is f3.5. So if this is what the aperture looks like at f5.6, the aperture at f3.5 is going to kind of look like that, which is going to allow a lot more light into our camera sensor. Let's take a meter of the light again and see what our exposure is right now. So right now it looks like it is about a little over 1 stop underexposed. So it's going to be a stop brighter than it was, but it's still not going to be probably properly exposed. But again, we're going to take a picture and see how it looks. So that picture was still dark, but there's still a lot that we can do to change our exposure. So we're going to hit the Q down right here, and now we're going to change the ISO. Now keep in mind, to get sharp pictures, you don't want to use too high of an ISO. You're going to want to stick to around ISO 3200 or less to get the sharpest possible pictures. But of course, ISO 100 is going to give you the cleanest possible pictures. So if you're out in a bright sunny environment, try to shoot at ISO 100. That'll give you the best pictures. But sometimes the lighting setting just isn't going to allow you to shoot at ISO 100. So we're going to have to crank that ISO up. So we're going to change the ISO up one stop from ISO 100 to ISO 200. And that should give us a properly exposed picture. So let's do a half press on the shutter speed dial like this. And from here, we can see that our exposure is going to be about a third of a stop overexposed. But let's take the picture and see what we got. This is the final picture, and we can see that it's definitely properly exposed. But as you can see here, it's just a little bit blurry. So now we are going to go into this camera and get absolutely perfect focus. It's super easy. We're going to hit the second button from the top, this button right here. We're going to press that in, and it's going to pull up our manual focus window. And from here, we have a little box that we can use the touchscreen and tap around where we want our critical focus to be. I want our critical focus to be on the Kodak logo right here. Now that we have selected the Kodak logo where we want our critical focus to be, we're just going to spin the shutter speed dial any direction, it doesn't matter, and it's going to zoom in 5 times. And zooming in 5 times shows us that the Kodak logo is definitely out of focus. So now we're going to move our focus ring until the subject comes in tack sharp focus, just like that. So now we'll take a picture again and see if we did better than the first time. Checking the key focus is very easy. We're just going to pinch with 2 fingers to zoom, just like we do on a smartphone. And we're going to zoom into this Kodak logo on the first picture that we took. And as you can see here, the Kodak logo is not quite sharp. It is definitely blurry. Now we're going to go over to the next picture, which we manually focused and got our critical focus on. And here we can see that the Kodak logo is perfectly in focus and everything looks nice and sharp. At the top of the camera, there is a manual function mode. We can program it to change the aperture, or we can program it to pull up the ISO. So right now it's programmed to pull up the ISO. So we're going to give it a press just like this, and without having to worry about pressing the Q button before we tap it, it's just simply going to pull up our ISO, and then we can easily change it and then quickly take a picture. Now that picture was a little bit overexposed, so we want to delete that. So we're going to hit this button right here with the blue play button, and that's going to bring us to all the pictures that we've taken. Now if we want to delete this, we're just going to hit the trash can right here. It's going to pull up cancel or erase. We're going to move over and we're just going to erase that picture. Now that picture is erased. If we want to pull up live view mode where we can see what we are shooting, we're going to hit the info button just like this. And now we can see what the camera is seeing in live view. And here we can see that if I change the shutter speed and make it faster, the scene is going to get darker. And if I change the ISO, the scene is going to get brighter. This is a really handy mode for beginners because you can really see exactly what you're doing when you're changing the different settings. If you look closely, we can see our light meter, and that's again going to tell us if it's overexposed or underexposed. With a half press of the shutter button, it's actually going to pull up where the camera is trying to focus on with these green blocks. Now, if you want to tell the camera what to focus on, it does have face detection and also has dual pixel AF. So you can easily just tap on whatever you want the key focus to be on, and the camera is going to automatically focus on that itself. Next, we're going to be checking out the menu, and you can easily access that by hitting the menu button here in the bottom right corner of the camera. So we're going to hit menu, and it's going to pull up tons of in-depth settings. There's absolutely hundreds of customizable features in here, so I'm definitely not going to go over all of these different features because this video would be about 2 hours long. So that's how you get to the menu. Now, lastly, we're going to be talking about video. So we're going to move the mode dial select here to movie recording mode. And now we are ready to record video. As you guys probably noticed, when I switched to video mode, the scene jumped about 1.6 times. And that's because when you shoot 4K video on this camera, there's a 1.6 times crop factor, which means the camera is going to zoom in more than you're probably going to want it to be. If we don't want that much zoom, we can just hit the Q right here and we can change our video quality settings. So right now we're shooting at 4K at 24 frames a second, but if we go over to shoot at 1080p at 60 frames a second, it's actually going to zoom out just like this, and it's going to give us a much wider image. But 4K definitely is still very usable on this camera. I'm going to be making more videos talking about that in the future. Even though there is that 1.6 times crop with 4K, The 4K video is definitely usable, you just have to kind of work around it. By default, the video recording mode is going to be fully automatic, but of course here we like things manual so we can control them ourselves. So we're just gonna hit the menu just like this, we're going to hit OK, and then we're going to hit the first tack here and switch it to manual mode. Now just like in manual mode here when taking pictures, we can fully manually adjust our video scene. But that's just about all I have for you guys in this video. If you have any questions about any of these settings or features or menu buttons, make sure to leave me those questions in the comment section down below. I will try my best to answer all the questions that you guys ask me. And if there's any big features that you guys think I missed, make sure to tell me what I missed in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to pin your comment to let other people know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to give this video a big thumbs up down below, and of course make sure to subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be notified when I release new videos to this YouTube channel. Again, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will catch you all in the next one.